If you are a frequent listener of The Money Honey, or maybe you've just stumbled across it for the first time, I'm here to tell you that this was all just a magical accident. Now, I don't actually believe in accidents. I believe in opportunities that then are taken up. You take that opportunity and you make it happen. So nothing happens by accident without intention. So for me, an accident means an opportunity with intention. So, what do I mean by this? So, the money honey very nearly didn't happen. Right. Okay. So, what happened was when I first launched my business, it was in the middle of a pandemic. If everyone's been following me for a while, let me just fill you in on those who are new. So, the money honey is actually a new brand concept of Manuka Media, right? But originally, when I first started, it all started as the Content Hive, and I created my own, little logo. I put something together just really, really quickly, just to launch. I didn't have the money to launch a business, let alone do, all the professional graphics and websites and things like that. So I launched very, very basic and very, very simple. So it wasn't perfect, and we'll talk about being perfect later, but it wasn't perfect, but I just did what I had to do. So when I rebranded 2 years later, I obviously got some money under the business that I wanted to reinvest, and I was more confident in my offering, and I knew what kind of brand I wanted to put out there. I went to a professional, and shout out to Jojo. I went to a professional who calls herself the fairy godmother. So I needed the transformation, right? I wanted my very own ball gown, and I wanted to wear it with pride and joy. And so I was introduced to this wonderful woman called Jojo, and we transitioned from, long story short, we went from the Content Hive to Manuka Media. So absolutely in love with Manuka Media. I was in love with the name, the branding, the styling, like everything. I was like, yes, this is it. So she then asked me, Roz, you've got like this honey and bee theme. Like, do you want to be the queen bee? Like, are you, normally people with a bee branded business tend to be like the queen bee. And I was like, no, I don't want to be the queen bee because I don't want to put myself out there as like the queen of, I don't want that kind of image. I have a very different philosophy about this whole bee theme and why I've chosen the bee theme. And my philosophy is less about me being the queen and the leader and more about us working together as a collective, as a community, as a hive. So I said, I don't really want to differentiate myself in a hierarchical way. I just want, did I say that right? Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to actually like me being the queen bee at the top and everyone else underneath. I was like, I didn't want that kind of triangle pyramid sort of look to my brand. So anyway, long story short, she's from Birmingham, right? And she just turns out like, this is important because I'm going to try and do her accent. Not that it's going to be any good, but it's just how she said it. She was like, the money honey, the money honey. Oh my God, Roz, you're the money honey. And I was like, the money honey, honey, bees. I get it, right? I get it. But I was like, Jojo, you know that I'm in a male dominated industry, right? And she was like, Roz, honestly, stick with me here. Stick with. And I was like, no, this was my face. I was like, what have I just paid for? I am so like gutted. I've got buyer's remorse right now, right? I'm thinking, yeah, follow me here, right? I'm thinking, right, I'm in the financial services sector. 99% of my clients are men. I'm in a male dominated industry as it's notoriously known for, but obviously that's changing. And, that's hence this whole podcast. But I just thought, right, if I go out there talking to people like, hey, I'm the money honey, I don't want it to sound sexy or cute or sexual or I don't know. I just didn't want to be ridiculed. Not only do I not want to be the queen bee, which now the queen bee, thanks to the Beyoncés of the world, has become like quite the norm. It's not really ridiculed. In my opinion, I don't see it being so. So you just think, oh yeah, the queen bee, like it's so common. It's so, it's so normal now. But the money honey has actually not been done. And I don't actually see that uh, at all on social media. So I thought, okay, it's new, it's different, I get it, but this is not this might not be right for my audience. In fact, I even had trouble with the pink. I really didn't even want to put pink in the business, although pink is one of my favorite colors. Like genuinely, like literally when I was little, I used to only want to brush my hair with a pink hairbrush, and I would have like pink Barbies and everything. So I was just like, no, I just think pink and the money honey is very girly, and I don't want a girly brand. I don't want it to be cute. And so for a while, I kept it a secret. Okay. So when I launched as Manuka Media, I didn't immediately announce the money honey because, again, I was afraid of what people would think. I was afraid of people, saying that that was a bit too sexual. And I didn't want to be sexualizing the brand. And I didn't want to make it cute or girly or, very, yeah, very childish. So yeah, I basically had to have a lot of sleeps on it. I had to sleep a lot on it, and then I was trying to explain it to my family. I was trying to explain it to my husband, and they were like, yeah, Ros, I don't, it's so smart. They were like, I don't get why you're so hung up on that, on it being cute or girly. Like, it's really, really smart. We get it. You like money, the financial world, honey, the bee, the real honey, the real money. And I just really had a lot of trouble with it. I really, really struggled with my confidence. I struggled with, that the anxiety of what people might say or what people might think. I struggled with not being taken seriously. And yeah, so I had to do a lot of work on my belief, on my self-worth and my self-belief, on how I wanted this business to look and how I wanted people to take it and how I wanted people to interpret the brand. So I was really, really, really nervous. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because today, the podcast has been going, oh gosh, I think it's now 7 months. We started recording in December. It's now August, December of 2022. It's now August 2023. So yeah, we're in the 7th month of recording. And we're nearly up to 50 episodes. We're very nearly there. Probably by the time I've recorded this, we've gone over the 50 episodes. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're nearly at 50 episodes. We've had some phenomenal, very seriously talented leaders within the property, finance, and construction space. We've attracted random strangers from Instagram who are killing it in their own space and have wanted to be a money honey, have wanted to be on the show. We've had men on the show as well as women. We've had people come in and represent the LGBTQ plus community. We've had just such a huge variety of talent on the screen. And I get messages on let's say at least on a weekly basis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've heard something in the background. Correction, hold the phone. I just said, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize. Recently, I've been on a course to expand and change my language and adapt my language to be more inclusive. And I've just fallen into another trap, into another mistake, but that's a whole other episode that I can talk to you guys about. I just said, ladies and gentlemen, I mean all people. I shouldn't have said that. If you are a public speaker, if you do videos, if you do podcasts, check your language, check the people that you're speaking to, check your audience, and try and be more inclusive. I've just caught myself out and I apologize. I mean no harm, but obviously my language needs to, I need to get used to becoming more inclusive. So I apologize about that. But the reason I distracted myself and completely lost my trail of thought was because a picture frame just fell off the wall of my house. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to be talking about the fear of perfectionism and the faults that comes with that. So just roll with it. But where was I? So I was just saying that we've had talented people come on the show, and maybe on a weekly basis, maybe on a monthly basis, at least monthly, I get a message from a random listener, maybe someone I know, maybe someone that I don't know, who listens to the Money Honey show and has poured out their soul and has thanked me deeply for the work that I've done and the speakers that I've brought on the show and the value that we're bringing with the Money Honey show. And every single time I get that message, it reminds me of how I nearly abandoned the whole project, how I very nearly got myself in such a kerfuffle in my head. I basically, I was overthinking it way too much. And I got myself into such a negative mindset that I nearly didn't launch the Money Honey. I very nearly just abandoned the whole project, which means I could have not been here today serving you as a community within the finance, property, and construction space and beyond. I know that there are listeners who I come across who aren't in this sector, but do listen in because they want to learn more about money, or they want to learn about, getting into property, or they're in construction, or they're not in construction. Either way, whoever's listening, all people, I do it for you. This is not a monetized podcast. Right now we've got no sponsors. No one needs to pay to come on the show. I don't pay anyone to come on the show. I don't get money to do the show. This is a completely free, safe space for everybody to come together on the screen to either share a meaningful message, to spotlight themselves, to practice speaking, or to share something valuable and to, impart their knowledge with the listeners. So I just wanted to say that sometimes, this is a lesson that I've learned, that it's about getting out of our own way, right? I was in the way of this, right? I was standing between me and you. I was blocking you from the Money Honey, right? I kept it a secret. I kept it behind the scenes because I was too scared. I was scared of what people might think, and I wasn't owning it. That's the whole point of the Money Honey, which is supposed to be sassy. It is supposed to be flirty in the right sense, right? You know what I mean? It's supposed to be clever. It's supposed to be playful, right? I don't take myself seriously to the point where I'm boring. I take myself seriously, but have fun. I have purpose. I have enthusiasm. I have confidence. And that doesn't come easily. I have to practice that. I don't just wake up confident, like, hey, good morning, Money Honey. Like, I don't talk to myself like that. I don't have ice baths in the morning and, chant meditations in the mirror, right? I do versions of that work for me. I do my affirmations, I do my meditation, but I don't spring out of bed with, total sassiness and boldness and confidence. I have to get up and work on it every single day. And so I hope that if you're listening to this, you are realizing what it took for me to come to this place. You might just tune into Spotify or YouTube, and you just tune in, think, oh, that was a nice episode. But actually what it took for me to get to this place, and I'm still not where I want to be. More on that later, but I am doing what I can with the skill set and the tools and the time. I think more than anything, it's the time that I have available. I'm trying to pull together a community. I'm trying to give you all a safe space where you can either listen in and learn, or you can come on the show and share. And that's what the show is all about. But can you believe it? Like, can you believe that this very nearly didn't happen? The Money Honey was never going to be a thing. It was only a thing because I got out of my own way. So I invite you to think about, what are you standing in the way of? Is that thing? You could be sitting on absolute gold, on liquid gold, honey. Do you get it? You could be sitting on a pot of honey that is pure gold. Like, it's the Manuka honey that you're sitting on that could actually be your next big thing. But because of your fear and your lack of confidence and your low self-belief, oh gosh, I put my teeth back in, and your low self-belief, that could be stopping you from being whatever it is you're trying to be. So I was trying to be the Money Honey. I was trying to create Money Honeys. We're all Money Honeys, okay? Everyone on the show, everyone listening, you're my Money Honeys, right? But that very nearly didn't happen, right? We wouldn't have had 50 beautiful speakers on the show if I hadn't got out of my own way. That's how powerful, that's how intentional you need to be. Don't do it for the haters, do it for those who will benefit from it. Okay, so just think, like, I had to get myself into a mindset of what is the purpose here, what is the vision, what's the goal, and immediately it stopped being about me and everything about you. Like, that's the magic of when you get out of your own way and you stop making it about you. It starts becoming about others and how you can serve other people. And that's the magic. That's where the money honey is. That's the real deal. That's the honey. That's the juice. That's the liquid gold that you want to taste and enjoy, right? You could be sitting on it right now. What's that idea that you've been procrastinating on, or sitting on, or put into one side, put into the back of your mind? Like, what is that little niggle at the back of your head that's saying, oh, I don't know if I should do this, something's holding me back? Like, definitely explore it. Sometimes it's good to have hesitations. Actually, they're very, that's our survival mechanism, right? That's how our ancestors used to survive, is they used to get this, feeling where they were like, no, I could be killed by a saber-toothed tiger out there, so I best not go out into that jungle or out into the desert without protection, right? We need protection. You don't just want to be naked in the middle of a jungle without any weapons, right? Because obviously you knew that the fear factor there was you could be attacked. And our version of being attacked today is trolls, social media keyboard warriors, or bullies, cyber bullies, right? That's our fear today, right? We're not going to be attacked by a tiger, right? Although when I went to Colombia, right, just a little bit of a side note, when I went to Colombia, I went to a desert, I went to many jungles, I went to wild rivers where we weren't allowed to bring anything with us other than the clothes on our bodies. Nothing, no money, no phones, not even sunscreen, nothing. Literally, I just went there with a bikini and a pair of shorts, and I was like, where are we going? And let me tell you, that kind of fear is real. The fear of walking through a jungle and thinking a jaguar is going to come out any moment now and it's going to smell me and I am its dinner for the day. Trust me, that fear is so different to the fear of waking up in the morning thinking, right, should I post that video or not? Should I do a podcast or not? Should I ask Rosalia to interview me on the Money Honey? Oh, I don't want to ask her. I'm scared. I don't know what she might say. What if she says no? Or should I, reach out to that client who said they were going to sign up with me, but actually never got back to me? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to be like salesy and I don't want to be pushy. Those are the kind of fears we live with on a daily basis, right? Not if we're going to be attacked by a tiger. We are living with the fear of what others might think, of what people might say, and what impact that might have on our lives, and if you're going to be successful or not, if that's enough, if you're good enough. Those are the daily fears that we are dealing with. And so I'm here to invite you, as the show encourages you to do so, to take a look at, where is that inner money honey within you, right? How can you bring out that sassiness, that boldness? Even if you're scared, do it scared. There is no other option. Okay. You're never going to be ready. Like, I was never ready to launch the Money Honey. Even when I announced it, the real, even bigger fear kicked in, which was, oh no, it's out there now. And there was people, and I know if there's a few people listening to this that might know I'm referring to them without actually naming them. But there was a few people who I'd asked to be on the show, and from day one, and they didn't respond. They read the message and they've been watching and they've been on the fence, but they never replied. And I thought, yeah, there you have it. That was confirmation that this is a total joke. I'm a joke. I'm an absolute joke. Everyone's laughing at me. No one's taking me seriously. But then the leaders and the pioneers and the early adopters who did see value in this and did back me up and just gave me all the confirmation I needed, but I needed to believe in myself first. Yes, I, of course, what helped was getting confirmation from others that this was smart, that this was sassy, that this was clever. Of course, I enjoyed that feedback. And of course, it meant a lot to me when the early guests, the first 10 guests. So I launched the episode. So I launched the podcast with 10 shows. So I asked my community, I think I must have asked like probably 20 to 30 people closest to me who I wanted to be on the show. But I asked 10 specific people to be my first ever guest. So if you go back to the history of the show, you can see who those first 10 guests of the show are. Mixture of clients and a mixture of ex-colleagues and a mixture of just industry professionals who I admire and really respect. So if you go back to the first 10 episodes, you'll be able to see who those first 10 early adopters were. There were some people who had asked that said no, who will not be mentioned, but who have later, right? This is the magic, okay? Who have later, since the show has now become a success, and call success whatever you want to call it, but in my eyes, it's not about sponsorship. It's not about how many downloads and plays or anything like that. It's about the value and the impact that you are making with the audience. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the value. I'm seeing the impact that this is making. But later, obviously 7 months later, now that the show has been around for a while and it's landed well, they're getting back in touch and they're like, hey, Roz, I know I never got back to you early in the early days about being on the show, but I'm actually ready now. Like I do actually want to be a part of your show. And I really respect their honesty that they didn't blame like, oh, I was really busy. They actually were honest and said, Roz, the reason I didn't take you up on your offer in the early days was because I didn't really know how this was going to go. I didn't really know how well this was going to land, and I've seen what you've done with it, and I definitely want to be a part of it. So that is the magic again of me moving out of my own way, believing in what I believe in, and actually doing what I said I was going to do, actually delivering. So obviously that comes hand in hand with confidence, right? So you don't just wake up positive and confident and then actually you deliver poor quality work. You've actually got to do some good work, right? In order to improve your confidence, you need to, be really, really proud of what it is that you're doing. But, the proof's in the pudding. So here's the pudding, guys. It is absolutely filled and dripping in honey, and I hope you've been enjoying it. I hope you've been enjoying this show, the speakers. But yeah, I think all this has happened because one, I believed in myself. Two, got out my own way. Three, I did what I said I was going to do, and I worked hard and I delivered value and continue to do so. And number four, because of you, because of every single person who has been part of it, every single person who has shared their stories, their knowledge, every single listener who has, reached out and said thank you. It's all been possible because all of those things have happened, right? Not because I've got a mic, not because I've got some lighting, not because I signed up to a streaming platform. It all happened because of all those other things that I've just mentioned. So what next? What next for the show? I am excited to share with you. So we're going to be upping the tools. Okay, so obviously right now it's just a nice humble podcast, in my living room, nice and cozy. But hey, if you like that, let me know. Like, do you want face-to-face interviews? Do you want me to interview speakers face-to-face in the same room, or are you happy with this like dual screen, remote recording? If you were to be a speaker on the show, do you prefer working remotely and just tuning in online, or do you actually want to physically come to a showroom? Because that's kind of a bit harder, because I interview people from all over the UK and also outside of the UK. So actually sometimes it's hard to do face to face, but we're going to be bringing that option to the screen. So we do want to record face to face as well. What's next? Okay. Right. So the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be repurposing the content. So we haven't had time up until this point. It's just been so busy, managing clients at Manuka Media, growing the team, expanding, rebranding, and then doing the podcast as I go. So just living proof. Okay. I can do another episode on this, but this just goes to show that you can start from nothing with the bare basics. Just turn on the camera, turn on the light, get a mic on and just start speaking. I am not in a studio. This is not a perfect setup. I'm not using 2 camera angles. Okay. This is just goes to show that you can build magic and you can build a phenomenal podcast. You can build a community. You can really reach out and touch people's lives without having to be perfect. Right. So that's another thing that I had to get over. I had to get over this idea that I needed to look really slick and snazzy. Hey, got myself a nice pink shirt on the, pod. You can hear me, you can see me. That'll do. It's about the value and the consistency and the knowledge that we bring. So that's what really, really counts, especially in the early days. But as we're getting a bit more techie with this, we're going to start bringing more, face-to-face interviews. So you're going to have the option to either come on virtually, as we have been doing, or come and see me face to face in a studio where we actually see each other. We're also going to be repurposing the content, as I was about to say earlier, where we chunk it down into mini clips so that we can give all our speakers mini videos. Now, we used to do that in the early days. Team structure changed anyway. There was a lot of hiring and firing. That's another long story. But yeah, we kind of lost that consistency. I didn't have the time to do it, but now we're gaining that back. So we're going to have like more little clips for you to watch, shorts, reels, that kind of stuff. The speakers are just getting bigger and better. Not that there's a comparison, but what I mean by bigger and better is like, everyone's now starting to really up their game with what they're bringing to the table, what they want to discuss. I'm meeting more strangers, so in the early days, I was asking more people that I actually knew, whereas today people are kind of like finding me on Instagram and approaching us and requesting to be on the show, which is super exciting because I get to meet new people that I've never met before. So that's really cool. We're going to be interviewing more men and more diversity. We're going to be representing a lot more diversity. The Money Honey is not just about females and girls and ladies and women. This is not a female club, okay? It is, however, because of the industry that we're in. So because of finance, construction, and property, because that's predominantly always been like a male trade sort of industry, we're still stuck in that female male conversation. I know that as a wider world, as a wider society, we've now moved on to speaking about non-binary and the whole LGBTQ plus community. But we're still in financial services. We're still trying to get that male and female conversation right. Okay. So yes, this is about highlighting a lot of the female talent within those sectors, but I'm also interviewing those who come in and talk about, the Asian community, Jewish, Black, lesbian, and the whole LGBTQ plus community. So we're going to have a lot more representation within those sectors as well. So yeah, that's the update on Money Honey. I wanted to share that A, I nearly didn't do it. B, it's been phenomenal. We've had some fantastic, talented speakers on the show. C, I've had amazing messages and reviews, testimonials, and phone calls from people who this has really, really, really helped, which has kept me going, has kept me motivated. Those are the updates. We're going to be bringing face to face. Yeah, so I think I've pretty much shared everything. But one final really, really exciting update is we are soon going to be doing Money Honey live event. I said that out loud. I have not even planned. Everything is planned in my head, from the venue, the decor, the songs. Like, I even know what the DJ is going to play. The drinks, I've designed my own mentally. I've designed my own like Money Honey cocktails. Oh my God. I know what I'm going to wear. Like, it's in my head. It's happened. And I've got the show reel in my head. But I need to get the team together where we need to start booking and planning and scheduling and all that kind of stuff. So you need to be a Money Honey subscriber. You need to be a Money Honey follower in order to stay tuned with the invites. And, I don't know yet how it's going to happen, but obviously you need to be in it to be with it, right? To take part in it. So speakers, whether you've been a speaker or a listener or someone who's provided a testimonial review, everyone is going to be considered to be part of the show and to, attend. So please, 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 please Stay tuned. Please become a subscriber. If you listen to this and you think, oh yeah, I listened to it, but you haven't actually clicked the subscribe button, you actually have to click the subscribe button to be a part of this community, right? We love you listening. We love it. But in order for us to grow, in order for us to bring you the best speakers, the best shows, the best value, and the fun element, we do need to grow the following as well. And so yeah, so thank you for being a part of it in whatever shape or form, whether this is something that you listen to ad hoc or you're a regular listener. I appreciate you, I value you. Thank you to all the speakers who have been brave for being on the show. Like, without you, there would be no show. It would just be me talking to myself the whole time. So yeah, I really appreciate you all. Thank you again for listening to my story. And you can find us, like I said, on Spotify, YouTube, but please do connect with me on LinkedIn. So Rosalie Lazara, you can find me on LinkedIn, and on Instagram, you can find me as Manuka Media. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for making this possible.